What was the most difficult thing to explain to your parents? There's a difference between loving and understanding your children. I love my parents and they are both smart and open-minded. But trying to teach my dad to do anything with his cell phone makes me want to just jump into a woodchipper Reddit. I'm glad I'm not alone. Trying to read all the replies. I try and remind myself that these people taught me to use a spoon and a toilet and I should chill, but this whole thread is great. That they needed to stop commenting on my acne and how pimply my face is. I'm a teenager. That I am a person with a life and goals outside of their desires. My dad randomly approached me saying he wanted to drive 3 hours away that evening to do something for his hobby. I had no warning. Only an hour's notice. And he guilted me when I told him I had plans in the morning and couldn't drive out of town. To stop commenting on my weight. Oh, you're too skinny, eat something, or you're looking a little chubby to them. It'll never be the right weight. Always skinny or fat. Never just right. That not every screen is a touch screen, so stop bloody leaving your grubby finger marks all over my laptop and the telly. You Neanderthals. But, you know, more nicely than that. How the modern job market works. They could not understand how you could come home from an interview and not know if you got the job. They could not understand the concept of having multiple interviews for the same job. They could not understand why the company will never call you back. They could not understand how companies could have the audacity to conduct normal operations after I submitted my application. I went over this and over this. By my mom's, in my opinion, conservative estimation, 50 times, and they still could not understand. Why being around them makes you miserable. That's not just me, right? Explaining the concept of memes. Mental health and how it's not so easy to just get over depression. That you want to die. That you don't want to be in this world anymore and that you feel like you disappoint them. It was hard telling my mum that. They don't even know how toxic they can be. And telling them they are wrong never goes right. That's why I am desperate to earn and get my poop not dependent on toxic people. Playing Cards Against Humanity with my parents, there were a number of terms that we just said you gotta Google that. Mom. That I don't like them. I want to move away. I have had depression for years and it can't just be yelled away. I don't hate gays. I have feelings. I don't like the dictatorship they've established. I'm my own person and not something for them to use. My parents are hard work. That you're not a kid anymore. Sometimes my dad treat me like if I was a baby that doesn't know anything and is annoying. That no is an acceptable answer and that we are allowed to stop seeing them if they are assholes. Having to call up my mum and dad separately and explain that my brother had committed suicide. As I was the first person the coroner had been able to reach. This came exactly a year after my other brother had also committed suicide. That Steam is a legal marketplace and buying games there is not pirating them. They just won't accept that you can buy things for that cheap online, and also don't believe me when I say that the game studios themselves actually sell legal digital copies of their games. It didn't make things better when they bought Oblivion to my brother on my advice because he has a really crappy PC and is a huge Elder Scrolls fan, but it couldn't run it with sound. So, instead of admitting the machine was too weak or at least inadapted to play that game, they blamed me of tricking them to them buy a fraudulent copy and that it would be my fault if Steam, the multi-billion-dollar company that sells millions of games every day, hacks our bank account and steals all our money. Honestly, they are great parents most of the time and I love them, but there are a very few topics like that where they are absurdly stubborn on even more absurd ideas. Fortunately, I took advantage of the many free copies given on the various gaming services to now have around 100 great games, and now I can actually buy things on my own through PayPal. Edit. They also refused to buy me Minecraft when I was 14. Not because of that piracy stuff, although the fact that there was no physical copies of the game on PC sure didn't help, but because it was too violent. To this day I don't understand. Having friends of the opposite hanky-panky does not mean I want to frick them. That their relationship is not healthy and never has been. If there's one thing I've learned from observing my parents over the years, it's that I never want to be trapped in a relationship like theirs. That them touching me in absolutely any way makes me uncomfortable. Even just like a poke on my arm. Trying to explain them how to use anything technology related. Playing Cards Against Humanity and my mum asking what pixelated buttcake was. Every joke ever. Why removing the only thing in life that brings me any form of joy may cause me to spiral down and not give a flying poop about anything they want from me. Depression isn't a phase. Just because I can put on a fake smile when I need to doesn't mean I'm back to normal. That the reason I moved back from my sister's was because her fiancé was sexually abusing myself and all of the other children. That I never lost my faith. Because I never had it to begin with. Even as a young child. Faith seemed like bullpoop. And the community I got from going to church wasn't even as good as the one I got from going to Friday Night Magic. That their alcoholism during my upbringing directly influenced mine. I don't blame them for my addiction, but when I did come out and admitted their total denial, failure to acknowledge their own addictions was kind of heartbreaking. I didn't even try to push it, I just let them think it mostly due to pressure at work. When I moved into my new apartment with my 2 roommates and they got the tour, and this is mine and BF's shed room. Those were some looks. Stop projecting your life into mine. Just cause you loved uni and your life sucked after it doesn't mean uni will be the best years of my life. Just because you built your whole life around your kids and now don't have any friends or hobbies doesn't mean I'm not allowed to continue my hobbies till I reach the grave. Just because it was easy to get a random job with no experience for the summer when you grew up doesn't mean it's easy now. And just because it was necessary for you doesn't mean it's necessary for me. Sometimes they just seem to expect you to become who they are. Don't they realize that some of them have been a template of how I don't want my life to end up? And if they're so unhappy, why would they push that on me instead of encouraging and giving me advice to make my life different from theirs? I can't just forgive you for abusing me and go back to being normal. Why I can't pause an online game. Anxiety and depression are real things. That video games have evolved far beyond Space Invaders and that some, Detroit Become Human, Mass Effect, etc. are even on par with best-selling books and major motion pictures. My social anxiety. When I'm not in a situation that makes me anxious, it's constant. Oh, it must be so difficult for you. I wish I was the one who had it and not you, but the second I can't go complain to X person in X store, or struggle to call a company to make an appointment, it's absolute impatience, and it's not that hard. Get a grip. I've just stopped including him when I have any kind of official stuff going on like job interviews or applications, because him getting angry at me for panicking in addition to the panic already there is quite possibly the least helpful thing possible. I'd rather just get through it alone with advice from friends who understand. Breaking point was when he started doing a hilarious impression of what I looked like having a panic attack, while I sat there feeling mortified and my brother glared daggers at him for it. That I respect gay people. When you say that you're not comfortable around them because they're hypocrites and narcissistic, and then they go like you're making a scene. Where did this come from? I didn't do anything wrong, and then starts crying saying stuff like why are you just overreacting for no reason, and then wonders why I don't open up to them. That I was calling them from the psych ward of my local hospital. I had kept everything a secret from them. So my call was out of the blue. My college roommate had taken me the night before for psychosis and suicidal urges. And by morning I could no longer put off the phone call. All I remember is picking up the phone. And the rest goes blank. Telling my parents I'm an atheist and have been for a long time. They still haven't accepted it and blame my wife for converting me, to which I had to have an equally difficult conversation with my dad about how it wasn't her, it was them. They're cramming it down my throat without really considering how I felt about it, just pushed me away from it all. Any insecurities of mine? I'd say. You cannot pause an online video game. That as an adult. Just because I'm living with them doesn't mean they can tell me what I can and can't do for life decisions. Not simple around the house stuff, dad. For context, I'm only living with them because the pandemic made it hard for me to find a new apartment after I graduated university. My parents have transitioned over the years to a new age lifestyle. And with it changed to being aggressively vegan. That's not a big deal, obviously. However, they now cannot stand the fact that me and my brother continue to eat meat and dairy products. So now every holiday we are not allowed to bring any food over when we visit them, and they will never come have dinner at our houses because, as they put it, we will not set foot in a house where flesh is consumed. I have tried to explain to them that I don't hate them for becoming vegan. They think that is why me and my brother have issues with them. It's not. We just hate how judgmental they have become. They think anyone who eats meat is evil. Which is absurd. To tell them that I was depressed and how I was perfectly fine with dying at any given point at that time frame. They didn't take it well. Either of them. But they soon came around and got me the help I needed once they realized how serious I was and how bad it was for me as an individual. Still the hardest thing I've done to my parents by far. I don't ever want to tell my mom I want to kill myself again. I am quiet at school. That me wishing I'd never been born in this world as it is currently. At least, isn't a personal attack toward her. That saying certain words is just not okay. Like the N-word and homophobic slurs. My dad genuinely doesn't get why that's bad, and whenever I tell him to not say something he just goes, I can say what I like. But when I say he is racist, homophobic, xenophobic, he is all confused. Like WTF. My sexuality. I'll probably get hit with the "oh you're too young to know your sexuality," but then tells me that me and the neighbor's kid would look cute together. I hate it here. My sexuality. When my psychiatrist told them I had suicidal thoughts, my mom started sleeping with me every night and spending too much time in my room, and I really didn't like it. So it was very hard to tell her I liked being alone and that I would be okay. That they did a poopty job with me and my siblings, and the denial they live in is going to cost our relationship. Why I self-harmed. That I'm a human being with free will and feelings, and that it isn't fair on me for them to disclose my deepest secrets with their friends and colleges who I'm not comfortable with knowing these things. That their repeatedly dismissive attitude towards my problems as a teenager was one of the reasons my mental health got so bad I almost killed myself. So no thanks, mom. I don't want to talk to you about my problems. That I love my older brother, but for God's sake is he the most annoying PP head I know. He barges into my room at 4 AM blasting the Soviet Russia bass boosted version in my face and jabbing at my hips, and I'm the ass for socking him in the gut and shoving him out my room because he has medical narcissism and minor Tourette's. He can't help it, yeah he can't help it, but it's still annoying to deal with. Excuses are just lazy. My mom doesn't understand I'm really disgusted by feet. I can't even look at my own feet, but she will still bring her feet really close to me when we sit on the couch together. I don't know how many times I told her to stop. That when you need some ideas for baking, googling for cream pies is a really bad idea. I'm not gay, I just support the community. That was pretty freaking awkward. That they didn't need to use me and my sister as pawns in their game against each other. After my parents split, they would always be so negative about the other to me and my sister. Each of them separately. If they want to be that way, then they don't have to talk to me again. My mom took it well but was shocked. My dad was on and off again, but now I haven't seen nor spoke to him in 4 years.
Hi there. Look, if you enjoyed the video, well, why not go ahead and hit that like and subscribe to Reddit Stories. In fact, if you want to see even more responses to this thread, well then, take a look. There's the link in the description below. And remember, show some love to those authors while you're there. And I look forward to seeing you next time.